So it's a joint SIG meeting. Can I have the SIG chairs with me, please? Bright lights. Okay, so we're starting now because the previous session was running a bit late. Chris, will you come up to the stage, please, to present the amendments that we thought about so that everyone knows what we're talking about?
Oh, perfect.
You got the mic? It's working.
Yep. Yeah, it's working. Okay. We have slides. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so my name's Christopher Hawker. Along with Carl Kloppenborg from Australia and Bertrand from New Caledonia, we decided to do a small review on the nomination criteria for SIG chair and co-chair positions. So over the last few meetings, elections for the special interest group chair and co-chair positions have had nominations from people who have either not participated actively within the SIGs themselves or who have had very little participation. Further, the current guidelines don't determine a set number of periods in which the chairs may serve in their positions. This does prevent a fair and equitable opportunity from those that are members of the special interest groups and the community from being able to participate and nominate for a seat in one of the SIGs. Now, the objective of this policy change. There are two main objectives to this. The first one is to prevent those who have not participated in the SIG area or have had very little participation from being elected to a position, or do not have a demonstrable skill set from nominating for any available chair or co-chair position. And the other objective is to provide an equitable opportunity for individuals to be elected to chair positions and to prevent the same individuals from holding more than two positions across the SIGs and the NRONC combined. Now, situation in other regions. I did take a look at the other RIRs as at their methods of electing candidates into their various SIGs and working groups that they operate. Links are in the presentation, which are also on the website should you wish to view those. Now, the proposed policy solution. First of all, it'll be to rewrite section 341 nominations of the APNIC 128 SIG guidelines. Number one, nominations are managed by the APNIC Secretariat. Nominees must reside having a consulting relationship with or receiving material compensation from such organisation. And a corporate group means an organisation, whether incorporated or not, together with other bodies corporate, with the same ultimate beneficial owner and all of their related bodies corporate. An exempt organisation means an organisation or community body registered in its respective economy that operates on a not-for-profit basis and performs a function that is wholly unrelated to APNICs or the SIGs activities such as sporting clubs and academic clubs, etc. Individuals cannot hold more than one elected position, EC, SIG or NRNC. Those who are elected to a new position must resign from any other currently held positions as soon as practicable, but no later than 30 days following the election. Self-nominations are permitted, as they always have been. Nominees must meet the same eligibility criteria as the voters in section 343. And nominees will be invited to provide a recorded video candidate statement to be published on the conference website, which again is already currently in policy. If a chair seat in a SIG is currently up for nomination, this position must be filled from a co-chair position. So what this effectively means is that an individual cannot be voted directly into a chair position. They must have held a chair position first. If there are two co-chairs, the two co-chairs shall decide amongst themselves with the outgoing chair who will fill the role. Should the two co-chairs come to an impasse because they both want to fill the chair position, then it will go to a two-party election to be held where community members to decide which co-chair will move into the current chair position. If there is only one co-chair, the chair position shall be offered to that co-chair. A normal election will then be held to fill that co-chair position. If neither of the co-chairs or the sole co-chair are unwilling or unable to fill the chair position, an election will be then held to fill that chair position. Now, advantages and disadvantages of this proposal. The advantage that I've been able to identify is that it provides a fair and equitable opportunity for individuals to be elected into seats in any of the SIG, in any of the special interest groups or the NRNC, as well as ensuring those who are up for nomination have the capacity and understanding of the role and have actively engaged in the community, thus preventing those who have had very little or no experience from being elected into these seats and ensuring that there's an even or an equal rotation of individuals across these seats. As for disadvantages, I and my co-authors haven't been able to identify any at this stage. Impact on resource holders, absolutely none, because this doesn't affect internet number resources. And references that I used when we references that we used when we drafted this proposal, we referred to APNIC 87, the bylaws of APNIC, as well as APNIC 128, the SIG guidelines. Do I have any questions?
I think you're going to get questions.
I think so.
Any questions or comments, please? Step up. Shayla? No? Oh, you're on the phone. Sorry.
Okay, I'm Jim from SIGs. In my opinion, the first problem mentioned in the proposal theme is self-contradictory. We encourage people to serve the community. Since the candidate have participated in the election, this shows that they have the willingness to participate more in the community. And the responsibility of the elected person also ensure that they will participate more in the community activities. So I think it's not a problem you mentioned in the proposal. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So look, just to address that the best I can, the idea to only allowing individuals from co-chair positions to fill the chair position, and then going out to an election to fill that chair position in that order, is purely just to prevent those that haven't interacted within the community, so haven't been posting to mailing lists, haven't been attending SIG meetings, haven't been actively engaged in the community, from filling those positions. Because we're of the view that if you've just come straight in and are nominated for a position, you shouldn't be voted straight into that seat. There should be some form of active engagement within a community first, before you are afforded the opportunity to be nominated and elected into one of those positions.
Akinori.
Thank you very much. Akinori Maimura from APNIC. I'm afraid that I actually like this proposal, because the SIG chair need such experience and the capability to moderate the session by the community participation. Then it should be avoided that just for the sake of the nomination, sake of the self-nomination, should be avoided, for my sense. Then the recent change of the bylaw actually effectively obligate the candidate to have some certain experience in the APNIC field. So this proposal is just the same line that we had in the bylaw amendment of the APNIC. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Akinori.
There's a question online from Anupam.
Yeah, Anupam, can you hear us?
Yes, Bertrand, I can hear you. Yes, Bertrand, I can hear you. Can I move ahead and speak?
Yeah, we can't hear you. Oh, you can speak. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Bertrand. I hope I am audible. So my
Well, sorry, Anupam. No, we can't hear you. Online, they can hear. Okay, but how? Okay, so Anupam, because the transcription works, I think you can go ahead and we'll just read what you have to say.
Okay, fair enough. So my question is that in case people who are not participating in SIGs but are directly applying for the chair or co-chair position, anyways, the community is not going to vote for them. And if there is a case where there is just one nomination, then also the current process allows to get some kind of vetting for just one candidate itself. So it is not that anyone can come in and directly become a chair or co-chair without the community support. So this idea of serving in the community is very broad. It can be interpreted by different people in different ways. Possibly attending one meeting can be considered as contribution, and possibly attending 5 meetings also can be considered as not enough participation or contribution. So it is very subjective in nature. So who is going to decide that whether or not the participation was enough? So that is my question. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, thank you for your questions. Very, very valid points that you've raised. I'm just trying to think, could you repeat your first question for me? And Pam?
Yeah, so my first question is who will decide whether the participation is enough or not? Because it is very subjective in nature.
Okay. That may be something that we do need to potentially review. Who does determine what participation or whether, it's considered somebody has participated enough. To be honest, in hindsight, I actually hadn't thought of that. So it is something that we may need to go back and reconsider to try and come up with an objective method, whether that may be they've attended 3 meetings, 4 meetings, they've sent 20 emails to the mailing list. We may need to go back to the community and get some more feedback, some more information as to how we can best meet that.
Dima, in my personal capacity, first of all, I would like to extend my thanks to the people who drafted this proposal, which I think is very important in the operation of our community. For the limitation on the number of the position that one person can hold, I think it's reasonable, and I settle for that. But as for the limitation on the term that one person can hold, I don't see any reason why behind. Just as Zhang Yu said, if one person could be elected by the community, it means it's trusted by the community. It is competent to this position. So would you please elaborate on your consideration on why this proposal is so concerned about one person hold a position for a long period? Thank you.
So that component of the proposal was more or less to give people in the community a fair and equitable opportunity to step up and take part. Something which I personally observed, others may say differently, is that if it's the same people in the same positions for multiple terms, it may detract them from stepping up to nominate and to become elected, because they may be of the belief that the community sees a person or sees the same person in the seat. They know them, they trust them, they'll vote them in. So the idea is to rotate the seats, to give people, to force is probably the wrong word, but it's the only word I can think of, to give people a chance to be nominated and to be elected into those positions.
I don't think it's necessary, because I think the public election itself means opportunity. And you can see all over the world, in many political congress, there is no such limit on the number of terms. So I think, yeah, maybe you can say pros and cons of the limitation, but I don't think it's necessary to make change. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Dear colleagues at APNIC, I'm a professional closely following the development of internet technology, and I am extremely concerned about the proposal policy of limiting the number of appointees. This restriction will directly undermine the sustainable of the technology community, and the reasons are as follows. First, the imbalance between technical needs and talent participations with organizations. The modern internet encompass dozens of specialized fields. In a single organization, there are individuals engaged in different research areas. And with a two-person limited in place, if there are already representative from fields A and B participant, it will be impossible for those in field C to get involved. This creates an unfair situation where valuable experts in certain areas is left out, which can impede the comprehensive development and the invitations with the community. Second, deviations from international practices. Institutions like RAP-NCC and ARIAN do not impose such restrictions on the number of participants. APNIC's distinct pricing may erode the longer-standing tradition of global collaborations. I sincerely hope that you can re-evaluate this policy to safeguard the openness and creativity of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you state your name and affiliation, please?
Yes, this is Haisheng from China Internet Network Information Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, sorry, just before you take a seat. So if I can just clarify that, the issues that you've raised are based on the fact that only 2 individuals from a corporate group can be nominated to any one of the SIG chair positions, as well as the NRONC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand how having a limitation of 2 people from a corporate group does affect technical discussions at routing security SIG meetings, cooperation SIG meetings, policy SIG meetings. I'm trying to understand how that limitation of only 2 individuals can affect technical discussions.
Okay, I can give a short explanation.
Yeah, if you could provide an example, that'd be great.
Okay, let me see if we in one country, if some experts has focused on an area, for example, in the routing security. So and they have do a lot of work in that area. But another experts may want to focus on IPv6 measurement or something else. But their resources are limited. So they have to do something in the routing security. I mean, they maybe, and they cannot make improvement in IPv6 measurement. So my resources will be restricted to the routing security. And IPv6 measurement may do not have the chance. That is very important for you as you know, right?
Okay, so if I understood that, your issue stems from, for example, if somebody is currently in the policy SIG chair position, as well as the routing security SIG, if somebody from, say, for example, CNIC, who is involved in internet governance, they're restricted from joining the cooperation SIG. Is that your concern?
Not joined, because everyone to do improvement, right?
Yes.
If they already have 2 positions there, others with different areas do not have the promotion chance, right?
Yes. So first of all, this doesn't prevent people from participating in a community. It doesn't prevent them from coming up on stage to put forward their, their talks and their presentations as they wish. It's only designed to limit people from holding positions on the SIG chairs and co-chair positions.
I think the position should be they can get the chance to get the position as they do the contributions, right? Every country can do their contribution, and the contribution makes the position. Do not with the especially with which city, right?
Yes.
With which country.
Yes.
Yes,
and-
it's my opinion.
Yes,
Okay.
and they can still present their, they can still put their, their knowledge and their information into the community. They don't necessarily need to hold a chair or a co-chair position to be able to actively participate in the community.
In fact, everyone to have their promotion, especially for individuals. You cannot cut the chance for the individuals, right? If you're doing that, I think you have cutting the promotion for one individuals or two.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, everyone to have the promotions. Okay. Yeah, look, I personally believe, as I've mentioned, my view on that still stands. A person doesn't have to be in a chair position to be actively involved in the community. They can be another individual that joins the SIG or participates in the SIG, and they can still participate in the community. As I said, they don't have to hold a position or a chair or co-chair position in order to actively participate. So unfortunately, I don't see your argument.
As individuals and professors in one area, everyone want to be a maybe director or something else to in this area. If I cannot to be a director in this this organization, maybe I want to change it to another organization to do contributions. For me, it's my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if, say, for example, you worked for an organisation that already had 2 individuals into elected positions, if you left that organisation, went to work for somebody else, you'd be eligible to join, provided you weren't still actively within that corporate group that you were initially in to begin with.
The idea behind this is to prevent some sort of evil corporation to hold multiple seats and being able to shape the direction of the APNIC to something that will advantage them and disadvantage the others. If you want to be in a chair position, chair or co-chair, first you need to participate. And if you have skills and good ideas, it's always welcome, of course. You will eventually get to the point where you could be in a chair position. But if the company you're working for has already got people in chair positions, then the idea is just to prevent a company to take control of the APNIC community. It doesn't prevent you from participating. It's completely the opposite. So if you've got something to improve the system, it's exactly what we do on a daily basis in the policy SIG. People are trying to improve the system, and no one has to be in a chair position to do that. So I tend to agree with what Chris replied to you. We can't really get where you want to go.
It's still my explanation. We should judge it by their contribution, not by the something else. Okay. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Jeremy?
Thank you, Bertrand. Thank you, Chris. This is Jeremy Harrison, General Counsel from APNIC. Now, the Secretariat normally doesn't provide Secretariat impact assessments on changes to the SIG guidelines. We'd be happy to do that in future if it would be of benefit. But I just want to make a couple of points, not to comment on the value or otherwise of the proposal, given the Secretariat would be implementing this new policy. One item is in regard to section 3.4.12. Nominees must reside within the Asia Pacific Service Region. The current drafting of the SIG guidelines prohibit RAR staff from serving in SIG chair positions, but it's not included in the current draft. Just to clarify that APNIC has a policy that staff are to remain neutral in elections. And as such, they wouldn't be able to participate under that existing internal policy. But this would enable other regional internet registry staff from other regions to serve. On a couple of other items, just to note that some of the phrasing in regard to NRO-NC chair positions, the NRO-NC chair is elected by the NRO-NC, not by the APNIC community. So we'd have some implementation difficulties in administering that. Additionally, in regard to exempt organizations, currently, this is, I understand from the APNIC bylaws, under the bylaws, there's also a list provided by the APNIC EC of a list of exempt organizations, which includes, for instance, network operator groups. In the absence of such a provision, the clause could be interpreted to also exclude members of network operator groups from participating as SIG chairs.
Okay. What we might do, we might actually, we'll take that information definitely on board, 100%. You know, we'll conduct a second, we'll put forward a second draft or a version 2 of this. We may speak to the Secretariat to see if we can get an impact assessment done, to see how it does affect or how it will affect the operations. And then we might be able to present a second draft, either in Dunedin or at a future conference.
Right?
Please.
Akino Imamura from JPNIC. I just explicitly have my support for the what I say page. What page? I have no idea. But item 11 to have the chair and the co-chair situation, and the co-chair will be stepping up to the chair position for the first place. That's actually one of the sustained concern of myself in the current SIG guideline, and then it is addressing that concern pretty much. Thank you very much for this proposal.
Nice, thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, inputs, feedback?
So on my end, I had feedback about the two terms limit that should be pushed to 3 minimum, and Jima said, well, he wants no limits. Yeah, that right. So, well, does anyone has any other idea or reason to? No.
Yes, hi, my name is Joy Chen. I'm here for, I think I'm wearing 2 hats. One is that I am the chair for the cooperation SIG. One is I am just an individual participating in the community, trying to maybe put some contribution. And this contribution does not just stands for the Cooperation Special Interest Group. I think I have other interests in the community. And I think this is, I share this because I'm sure that many of you share this with me, because our interest is not limited in one SIG or others. So I'm thinking that when I'm looking at this proposal, one of the, if I may call a root cause, is that in the proposal in the earlier, and just to clarify, I'm sitting here saying this as an individual capacity. I think that when I look at this to say that one of the drive was that there is a low participation. And when I look at this low participation, I think some of you has mentioned what is low participation, what is the how many is too many or how little is too little. So I'm just thinking in a proactive way that if we want to have more participation in the nomination, perhaps one of the things that we should do as a community, we should really share what does a chair or co-chair has to do in the SIG. And what is the EC? What does the EC does? We used to have sessions to meet the EC and social with them, ask them questions formally and informally so that we understand that what's their role. And I remember reading, and I'm reading this right now and saying that the EC placed by the individual, he's not representing any parties. So that raised me the concern about that. They are here to be the EC to representing APNIC, not as an individual representing their party, their organization. So that needs to be clarified. And also that if we are not having enough nominations, people either are not willing to nominate themselves or having other people to be nominated. Perhaps another way that we need to do is that to share more about what we do and, writing blogs in our community communications and, or having like a successful plan. Because when I am in my special interest group, I see many individuals always there, always participate. And I see their passion. And maybe they are not going to nominate themselves because they don't know what I do or what does my co-chair do. So I like to approach them proactively and telling them that what do I do as a chair and what are some of the things that I see them in the criteria if they are interested. This is like, I'm sure that when we are in our organization, we sometimes call that a successor plan. So that's the same idea. If we can probably do that a little bit better, this will encourage people to come to these groups and contribute more in their own capacity. So, changing the guideline to a better fit so that we have a fair basis, we can do more about it. I think those are wonderful things, a good idea. I want to endorse that. But I also think that there's other things that we can do as chairs sitting on the stage, because I want to ask some questions, but I felt like, I'm sitting here, should I ask those questions? And I maybe step down from the stage and ask from the floor. But I think that's less than the point. The point is that I really think that if the trigger is that we're not having enough participation, we have a low participation to the elections, I think that there's other things that we can do. And it's just going to help this community be more together, stronger, and be able to participate and contribute more in every other way. Thank you.
Mr. Director.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jerong. I'm the Director General of APNIC. As staff, we are neutral to policy proposal, but I really like to echo some of the points that Joy made about participation. So keeping very neutral to the policy proposal, I would like to share a couple of points in terms of the philosophy behind participation. So in terms of policy/regulation, it is to guide behavior in a certain way. And typically, there's always this argument between the regulators and industry. Industry always say, we want to find best practice, norms, find ways to allow the economics to do its own work, than to create regulation to guide a certain direction. Now, I like this philosophy because it's kind of like what Joy is saying. So what we want to be thinking about is how can we encourage participation so that there's a lot of participation in itself that would allow for the turnover, for succession, for new leadership, new blood to happen. And this is a question that I've been thinking in the APNIC community. How can we, from the Secretariat and staff, support? And there are areas that we can do more, and I am going to share some of those on Thursday. But I think this discussion allows for us to talk about it now. So it's pretty much along the lines of what Joy is saying. We should allow for more interactions from the leaders to tell people what they are doing, why do they feel passionate about the work, what are some current activities that they are doing. So other people from the community would have a sense of, if I were in those shoes, I have those opportunities as well. And right now, actually, in APNIC, we do have those platforms, just that we're not pushing them out as much as we can. So for example, we have blogs, we have 100,000 people who view the blogs every month. We could take more of those opportunities for our community leaders, the elected leaders, to be sharing what they're doing. And that's something I would like to work with you on more actively. And that is just one channel. So, coming to a meeting like this, the conference, so we have newcomers. So we can also invite our elected leaders to be sharing what you are doing with those groups. So more interactions this way. So community members will understand what it takes to be in your shoes, but also realize that it's not that difficult to be in your shoes too. So some of these interaction opportunities that from staff we can help to facilitate. So that's something I like to work with all of you together. Then this way we would be able to lift the community up and also encourage more participation. So a little bit more work also perhaps from the elected leaders, because we'll be inviting you to speak more. But I hope that will also, you feel for the mission, you feel for the work. But I hope in this way we will be able to encourage more participation together. So I was also planning to raise this, like I mentioned, on Thursday and separately with the elected leaders. But since we are talking about this topic in the larger group, I might as well just mention this idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember that we used to have a mock policy session for newcomers. And is it still going on? No? Sunny? No. Well, it was for the newcomers. We were doing a fake policy session and explaining all the process to them, so that they could 2 or 3 days later starting at least to sit in the OPM. So it might be a good idea to do it again, unless there was bad feedback from it. But I don't think that there was. Thank you.
Yes, I'm one from Munich also. I'm the analysis there. I'm speaking on my personal. Yeah, yes, I also interesting for the proposal. When we think, something regarding to the change, we look forward to have a new chair or co-chair better, right? So we can can find out how to find the better one, better leader, elected leader of our region. So that I just wonder about that if you change the policy, so we can find the better one. For example, in corporation, and the chair, my sister sit here. So I think that for long time ago, she have done a good job at the SIG and also another people from, for example, Dima. So I think so. Dima, when he acting chair of the routing security SIG, so he had give a lot of things regarding to the routing security. And I remember at the last meeting, so I saw that when the new proposal, we reached the consistent. So I'm feel a little bit sad when Lima did not join any routing security chair. However, I believe that maybe I just recommend about when something we reach the consistent. For example, if a member from corporation to be easy So there are more than 2 individuals from the same organization. In the seats got the SIG chair or NC and EC as well. So on the 2 individual must resign from this position. So I feel that it's not fair for the elected leader. This our reason because they also had the support the community. They got the two year for term. Maybe we say that after, if they did not fit for the new proposal, they will just complete the term. After that, they did not apply again. Maybe like that. And also, I saw that something regarding two terms from the it doesn't matter. But I hopefully that in NRC when we have a more people interesting to become the chair or co-chair of the NRC, so they can come to and apply for the position. Hopefully that I saw in ARIN, yeah, they have an interview for the chair, co-chair, because I'm not sure about the elect nominees, because someone there's the case we had the part someone not a part of NRC member, so they apply for the NRC chair or co-chair. So for example like that, so I think if they have a, for example, special NRC, we have a special pupil regarding to Stephen NAR, so we look forward to have someone from the NAR to apply for the position. However, sometimes we did not got the right member. We look forward to have a promote the NAR6. So something regarding to NAR, so we look to have the more creative requirement for someone from the NAR to apply for the position. And finally, I think that we just talk about the term of the SIG chair or co-chair. How about EC? Yeah, I just wonder about EC. If you we read the proposal for chair, co-chair, and how about EC? Do you think about 2 terms? It enough for EC? Yeah, just I raise a comment. However, in my personal, I also support the proposal, but I wonder about another things. So I look forward to have more time to discuss about the change of the proposal. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Taiji, co-chair of routing security. I'm very new for the position of co-chair. From the fresh aspect of me, there are 2 kinds of issues. One is philosophical issue, and another is operational issues. For the philosophical issue, we need to think about what's the goal of the figure of our community. For example, mixture of the people or the professionalities, or from the aspect of attendees, they should feel the community is good. But from the operational aspect, those are not actual. We need more realistic. One thing I can say is that we need time to bring a good community, good SIGs. So for saying the time, the 2 years terms is good enough for growing up as a good chairs, or do we have some mechanism to bringing people being good for the SIGs. So I don't have a specific answer for them, but we need to think about the philosophical issues. What is the actual goal of the community? Thank you.
Thank you, Tachi. Any more comments or questions from the ground? Yes, please. Don't forget to state your name and affiliation. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Alvin Kwan, speaking in a personal capacity. So Jairong talked about newbie. I am a newbie, so I have newbie questions related to this particular issue that we talked about. So I'm trying quite desperately to understand and follow the argument here. But if I summarize it, I think the position of the proposal is that we don't want a particular corporate group to hoard a lot of different positions, so we can actually encourage more people to participate. Yeah. I think the gentleman from CNIC come from a slightly different perspective because he's really thinking about individual contribution. So when I read the proposal, it is not extremely clear to me whether the position itself is a corporate position or an individual position. If I understand that APNIC membership is somewhat corporate, but for a election as chair or co-chair, is the person representing a corporate entity or as an individual? I think if we can clarify this, the argument would be quite clear, because if it's corporate, then the proposal should make sense. But if we allow individual to be elected as chair, then I think there might be some argument that is valid from the gentleman from CNIC. Yes. So I guess when I read this, it only say that the person needs to come from the Asia Pacific region, but it doesn't explicitly spell out that it needs to be a corporate representative of a member. So that is what I, as a newbie, don't really follow the argument. Thank you.
No, of course. So look, let's throw the idea of a corporate group out the window for a second, right? If we only look at individuals as individuals, then 100% I agree with what CNIC says. In this case, the only way we can determine if they're acting in an individual capacity or as part of a corporate group is to approach the person and ask them directly, are you representing the organisation that you're affiliated with or that you're employed by, or are you acting in an individual capacity? So there's no way to externally verify that. So in my view, or my personal view at least, we do need to look at it in a corporate sense, in the sense that they do come from their particular corporate group. Hopefully that clarifies it.
As part of the community, we are all individuals, but those individuals are working for someone most of the time, even if they're working for themselves. So it's very hard to put aside the fact that if you're working for this company and this company has views on the way things are done at the APNIC and they want to modify it, they could push their individuals to different seats. And that's what we want to prevent. Akinori, please.
Thank you very much. Just maybe supplementary comment that the executive council member is provided to to act as the personal capacity and then the interest for the community. But the revised bylaw says that and that just a quite consistent the provision like from not from multiple person from one single corporate group. So that's quite share that kind of the concept. So that I'm now effectively supporting what Milton said. Thanks.
Allow me to speak in my personal capacity. I think that something was puzzling my mind is that I understand the calling for having that limitation of two corporates, two-person or two candidates or two chairs within the same. But when I look at the different corporations or group, if we call legal entities, they are huge ones and they are small ones. Is two a good number? Should we put the two as a cap? I understand what we're trying to avoid, which I think is fair enough. But I also question that a large corporation, that their talents, their individual, their contributions versus a small company where they want to put in their 2 cents of what they think, do we really want to cap at 2? I think that we can, maybe put some more thinking on that and having more discussion so that maybe on the revised one, we can consider that. Thank you.
I see your point. The thing is, you don't have to be in a chair position to participate and to share your skills and your knowledge. So it's mostly, it's just to prevent someone from taking over, really. Joyce?
Online comment from Anupam, please. Yes, on mic. Anupam, if you could unmute yourself. It's okay. That's all right. Don't worry.
Yeah, thanks, Joyce. So I think we are trying to ring fence ourselves from a supposedly evil takeover or something like that. But in the process, we are making things very, very complicated. One thing about participation in APNIC has been the openness with which one can come and participate, gather some amount of community support, contribute. And I think that basic tenets of participation in APNIC should be preserved by this policy proposal. There are certain elements which are good, but overall this needs substantive rethinking and reconsideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Anupam. We're reaching the end of this session, and I think we agree on a few points, which is a good thing. These points being that you should start by being a co-chair before getting in the chair position. And we agree that we don't agree on the number of terms. That's the main point. And there's this issue with the number of people from the same group limitation as well. That's what we're going to do now is we are going to put this proposal on the mailing list, publicly available, so that all the community can express their opinion. Hopefully, we will have more feedback, but this is a good start. Yes. We plan to have it in production for the next meeting. Yes, Akinori?
Quick question. What mailing list are you raising this?
I think it should go, well, maybe we can put it on all the mailing lists, because people are not always, maybe some people in this room are not following the policy SIG mailing list, or not following the NIR mailing list, or the corporation mailing list, or the routing SIG mailing list. So because it's a joint SIG, do you think everyone is subscribed to APNIC Talk? It's not really the place for that. So maybe we should go with a publication on each mailing list. Georgie?
Yeah, we're confirming that it will be published on all the mailing lists. An APNIC talk as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Any last? Chris?
No last words from me. I suppose, first of all, just briefly, thank you for everyone's input and feedback, both from members of the community and from the Secretariat. It's discussions like this is what does drive policy and does make it a lot stronger and gets it to a point where we can reach a consensus. So thank you very much for your feedback and your input.
Well, thank you all for your participation, and we have 5 seconds left. Woohoo! Spot on. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the night. I think there's a peering social outside. Well, I'll see you there. Bye.
Thank you.
What you gonna do? So take it, kid, away. 만지켜내려 해. 쉽잖아도 진실한 나만의 beliefs. You know what they say, don't brag about what you have. Be careful and be humble, otherwise you should be ready to stumble. You know what they say, 자신감이 없니? 왜 당당하게 살지를 못해?